You're hanging out with the crew of Demon 305, and we have the honor and the pleasure of speaking today with Manning Sumner. Thank you so much, sir.
No, I appreciate you, man.
We appreciate you, man. You know, you are a trailblazer in our community. We're just talking about strangers in strange lands. I'm sure you probably can empathize with that a little bit coming to Miami, but we want to get to know the very beginnings. Where does your story begin?
I was born in the Gump, which is Montgomery, Alabama. I was a bit of a rebel child, so I never really fit in where I was. So my parents tried to find places that were better. So I was, got into a lot of fights and stuff in school, and so they were just trying to channel the energy in the right way. And Briarwood was a great place for me because it was a private school, a little bit smaller, opened up different doors, and obviously with the Christian background, it helped kind of like submit a little bit more of a calmer side.
Talk to me about Manning's senior year of high school. Did Manning know what was to come the next maybe 4 or 5 years, or were you just kind of figuring it out?
Yeah, let's take it back to junior year because that's really where obstacles and setbacks happen. So my junior year in high school, I broke my back.
Wow.
Okay. And I went to the doctor, and they told me I had a pulled muscle, you know, and obviously it was more than a pulled muscle, but at the time that's what they told me, so I just kept playing. And even, you know, my dad would ream me out for not hustling when actually it was because my back was in so much pain. I used to be shot up with needles like this big of Toradol before games. This is in high school, just to make it like to halftime, you know. And you know, during that period, it was very hard because I at some point, you know, about the 9th game, I had to stop playing and start like trying to either make a decision: do I keep rehabbing and trying to come back, or do I just quit altogether? But for some reason, I've always had something inside of me that I just don't know how to quit, and so I put everything I had into repairing my body back, and I did that. Went to a chiropractor that helped me, and came back my senior year and was defensive player of the year and led the team, and you know, had a lot of scholarship offers. And so for me, at the end of my senior year, it was kind of like, okay, which school are you going to go play football at?
So at this point, is there like an entrepreneurial kind of component to you at this point in your life, or no? You're still kind of school, football, or?
My senior year, I did start to personal train people. So that, and make money. And so I was personal training and actually my senior year also, I took a lot of the football guys and would take them to the powerhouse gym, the local powerhouse gym, and train them. So I did start applying the things I was learning in exercise science to working with other people. So when I moved to Miami, I was a stunt double, body double of Bad Boys 2.
Okay.
Yeah, a really close friend of mine was a model in Miami. And he called me up and said, hey, if you shave your head, and this is when I had hair, and people are probably sick of hearing this story, but I shaved my head on the spot, sent them, I think at the time it was like a Polaroid, and they hired me. And then the same friend, the model friend, he took me to Crunch. And at the time, Crunch on 13th and Washington was the happening place. I mean, it was where Eminem, 50 Cent, Madonna, Beyonce, like everybody worked at the Crunch on 13th and Washington. That was like the gym in Miami. So a guy walked me in, met the front desk boy there named Scott Hauser. He took me on a tour, and then he was like, if you want to be an independent trainer, it's $300, I think it was $300 a month, and you can be an independent trainer. And I was like, how many trainers do y'all have? And they were like 38. And I was like, whoa. And because it wasn't a very big gym. And I became the 39th trainer, and in probably less than 3 months, I had more clients than anybody at the gym.
It's one thing to be on the personal training end of things as an individual. It's another thing to actually try to open up like a facility.
Yep. I built a very lucrative personal training business, had probably around 27, 29 steady clients. And I had a guy, it's crazy, I don't know how I end up with all these con artists, but I had a guy named Troy Stratos, who's in prison right now. He's one of the most notorious con artists of his time. Yeah, no, don't. He's a freaking loser. Yeah, but he came up to me in the gym and he said, I'm looking for a traveling trainer, and I would love for you to travel with me and train me. I work with celebrities, I do all this stuff, and I just, something about it felt like I needed to do something different. I needed to try something else. And it was about 3 to 6 months. And through that time, I saw tons of gyms, whether it was hotel gyms, resort gyms, regular gyms like Gold's Gym, the Equinoxes of the world, the just private gyms, all these different gyms. So when that was over and I came back to Miami, I remember getting a poster board and kind of just, back then, like, cutting out magazines, kind of like a dream board, and just coming up with my own concept of what I thought a gym should be, because I really felt like every single gym was exactly the same. Not now, but back then, that was how it was. So I didn't like that, and I was like, the energy's whack. It's not set up for an experience. It's not set up for results. It's really set up almost to keep people away from each other and to not create conversation and things like this. So I really had this idea to bring something to life that was different, and that's where it all came from.
You end up having success with the gym. At what point do you think about water?
I always wanted to do my own water, but every time I tried to do it, putting something in a private label plastic bottle just wasn't sexy. It didn't feel right. So when Liquid Death came out and they put it in a can and kind of made water cool, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I actually got offered to invest in their company, and it just didn't feel right. The whole death message and murder and all that, and the skull on the can, and the water wasn't really that great as far as taste goes. So I just really wasn't about it. So Adam, William, and myself, and a guy named Brandon, we formed the water company, so NDO Bev LLC. And we were very, very intentional with trying to come up with the purest water in the world with the best taste that you ever had. And so it took us about 1.5 years to develop this water. We were very patient with it. We wanted to get it right, because we knew once we put the water out there, we had to make sure that what's in this can is special.
At what point did you realize the importance of apparel as far as the movement is concerned with your brand?
To me, it's walking billboards. Like at the end of the day, if you can get people to wear your stuff, then you are literally creating mini billboards throughout the city. And it's awesome to you want people to be like, hey, what is that? You want to create curiosity that creates conversation. To me, the Pitbull is our swoosh, that's really how I saw it. I thought that was the genius of Nike is making that swoosh iconic. And for me, I want the Pitbull to be just as iconic as the swoosh, because I grew up with that. I mean, it was the Jumpman, Air Jordan, and the swoosh. So to me, that's where I want to see. I want to see my Pitbull, be that iconic, and it's just very cool.
Where do you go from here when you see everything that you've accomplished? How do you figure out what's the next chess move for you?
I feel like we've absolutely done a great job of Florida and Miami specifically. And now we're about to enter into Tennessee. And then we also are launching the waters in Alabama and Tampa and Georgia. So that's, one of my goals in the next 5 years is to do a ground up project. So whether it be a hotel, an office building, a residential, but development that is legacy. And then, my vision is a hotel, but we'll see, again, sometimes you have to pivot the vision, but that's really the vision. Yeah, and then the most important thing for me is having a brand that goes beyond a brick and mortar, that goes beyond a product, that goes beyond a service, that goes beyond the can. Is about self-improvement and about making the most out of every single day. Then I feel like I've done something that's bigger than self, and I've done something that's bigger than a product.
Manning, there's something very special about seeing a kid from the South come to the big city and take over, man. So thank you so much.
Oh, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.